What's going on, everybody? This is episode 474 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. You caught me off guard there again, Brett.
They used to yell at me when I'd give them the 2-minute warning, the 5-minute warning before the show. I stopped doing it because I give the ladies what they want. Now they're telling me I'm doing it wrong. It's typical. They can't make up their minds.
The 3-second warning is a little brash. I'm not going to lie.
Well, no, I gave the 3-minute warning. I would always say 3 minutes till we're live, and everyone's like, oh, we know. Now I don't do it, and suddenly they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea we were going live. I didn't look at the clock. Why didn't somebody tell me?
We would make fun of you like an hour and 45 minutes before, being like, hour 45 minutes. So you learned your lesson. But yeah, Sarah's also with us again today.
Hey guys, I'm back. Thank you for having me 2 days in a row.
Yes,
we needed a Whammon ambassador.
Mm-hmm.
Phil is out of town right now. He's off doing Phil stuff.
Yeah, off
elsewhere.
doing music stuff.
Yeah.
Non-filled musician.
This is not gender swapped Phil.
No.
No.
I didn't test the money guns today, so we're gonna have to wait till the first super chat comes in to make sure that the money guns are working. But hopefully they are. That's the hope, is that they're working today. Guys, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We're gonna talk about the fact that it's being accused apparently that Justin Timberlake is deploying bots to prevent the story from Britney Spears and him and the abortion from having fester and get worse. Also, like, a lot of her fans are like pushing back on him right now, which is horrible timing for him because he's got like his new single that came out with in relation to the new Trolls movie. He just there was a thing.
Oh, he's in the Trolls movie.
He's one of the actors. He's been in all of them, but also they have a new song that's part of it. Yeah. Yeah.
If 20 years ago he would see where his career is now on the NSYNC reunion press tour and having a role in the Trolls trilogy, like, would he be proud of it?
I don't know. I mean, he's like, I was looking at his IMDb. He works consistently.
He stayed in the spotlight at least.
Yeah. So we'll get into that. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about a young woman named Janelle English, who is essentially the inclusivity czar for the Oscars, who has quit over microaggressions that she has claimed have caused her to want to quit her job. It was just too much. She also referenced macroaggressions. I don't actually know what the difference is between a microaggression and a macro, like a
macroaggression is punching someone in the face and saying, I don't like you because of your skin color. Mm-hmm. A microaggression is, I don't know, asking to touch a black woman's hair.
Yes, that's the perfect way to put it.
Okay, well, we'll see. Jacob Edlers did a test, and it's not, it didn't work. So hopefully by the next super chat that comes in, it'll be working. So this is my fault today. Every day, and see, it's redundancy. So a lot of the times, what'll happen is there we go. It's just very, very delayed today, guys. So Jacob, it did work. But I would give the 5-minute warning, and people would be like, oh, we don't need that.
I have never said that, just for the record.
I'm pretty sure she said that, ladies and gentlemen. She's trying to rewrite history. But also every day I would do like the redundancy test to make sure that the money guns were still working. And of course, what would usually happen is the one day you don't test it will be the day that it ends up not working, right? Mm-hmm. But it does seem like it's working. It's just on a little bit of a delay, so bear with us today, ladies and gentlemen. Also, we're going to talk about the fact that Victoria's Secret is losing a crap ton of money, so supposedly they're going to abandon their ridiculous, inclusive, for a lack of a better term, woke marketing ploy. I hate that word so much. So we're going to talk about that. They're losing a bunch of money. They just had another fashion show. We're going to get into all that. We got a bunch of other stuff. But before we get started, would you guys hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. And then once you do, would you share the video with your friends? I was trying to work in a joke where I was like, and if you subscribe right now, we won't talk about Taylor Swift for a week. Like,
hey, we did that this week so far.
Yeah, Monday. Well, we're not right? no topics on her right now, but yeah.
So
if everyone subscribes, we will not talk about her. Wouldn't that be great? Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on all the videos, turn the notification bell on, share these videos with your friends, please. We want to get more people in here to hang out. We're fast approaching 75,000 subscribers, so thank you for that. Also, remember, all super chats $20 and over. We will interrupt the discussion. We will read them right then and there, and then we will get right back on topic. We will do our very best. So if you ladies are ready, we will get started. Mary, are you ready?
I am ready.
Sarah, are you ready?
I'm ready.
She's ready. All right, let's go ahead and get started then. First things first, I put a poll up today, ladies and gentlemen. I asked you, the lovely folks in chat, I said, who would you have play live action Elsa? I asked, would you hire Viola Davis, Jada Pinkett Smith, Leslie Jones, or our own Mary Morgan? Those were your options. That's the choices you get. That's what you can pick from.
Well, Jada would have some kind of principled stance against wearing the blonde wig, right? She wants the bald Elsa.
Yes.
So we can't have that. I'm surprised Leslie Jones isn't in the lead.
No, right now, Mary Morgan is winning with 77% of the vote. And the reason I asked this is because there was a tweet from Cosmic Marvel. It says, a live-action adaptation of Frozen is reportedly in the works at Disney. I mean, that's not surprising. If they're doing live-action Moana, they're absolutely going to do live-action Frozen.
Literally just like, why?
What's
Why?
next? Like after they make all the animated movies into live action,
Then they're going to make
like 40
live action shows
Yeah.
of Frozen. And like they're already making an animated... They're making an animated Frozen 3 right now. So you're going to be releasing live action Frozen at the same time as the third animated Frozen. And then the live action Moana. I don't know, like it's just too much.
Who would you hire to play? I still like the idea of Elle Fanning, but I don't know who I would.
Evan Rachel Wood.
And Marilyn Manson.
Sophie Turner.
Marilyn Manson?
Yeah, Marilyn Manson as the sister.
Dove Cameron.
Is Dove Cameron a horrible idea?
No, she should play Tinkerbell.
There you go.
Or Rapunzel.
I guess I'm not like as in tune with like
they
the
really-
actresses. I still say
Yeah, me neither.
slutty Anna, slutty Frozen with Sydney Sweeney. There you go.
You mean Elsa or Anna?
Slutty Elsa.
I feel like we've had enough live action Frozen with Elsa Gate on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Like that's live action Frozen.
They
Elsa and Spider-Man.
And how old did it say the character was? The character's 24?
Elsa's 21, Anna's 18.
Okay.
In
So
the first
they'll
one.
end up making
Right on the cusp.
If it wasn't a Disney one, if it was HBO, they'd do their own version of like Euphoria with Sydney Sweeney as like troubled Elsa. Troubled Elsa.
The new trailer with Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell is awful. Just sounds like Euphoria. Doesn't look or feel like a rom-com. Where's the rom? Where's the com?
It will also be very difficult for them to capitalize on this because like one of the biggest reasons that Frozen was so successful was the damn song that you couldn't escape.
What, they're not going to make it a musical?
Well, I'm just saying like the song won't have the same virality that it had the first time around when everybody had to hear it 24/7. So when they do the live action and they use the song again, it won't have the same effect. They'll have to do a remix of it.
You don't think it's been long enough?
It was like what, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
How long ago was it?
Yeah. It was like 2012 or something.
Then it has to come back as like a TikTok song.
Frozen was kind of made in the last year where you could make movies about white people in Disney.
Yeah, it was like the last one to get its foot in the door before there was all this backlash against like Icelandic princesses.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
That's
Good
why we
question,
get
Brett.
the Snow White with Rachel Ziegler.
Yeah. I suggested yesterday that somebody should go as both like Brett Cooper Snow White and as Rachel Zegler Snow White for Halloween.
Working on it.
Somebody could do that.
You might get canceled, but
No, not if you're
You get half
if you're darker skinned, you can do that. You just have to paint half your face whiter.
okay.
Then it's not. Then you're not canceled. You're fine.
Okay.
You're fine. All right, guys. I know a lot of you don't have Netflix, but a quick update for you. They are bumping up the prices again, so you can thank your streaming services and your whiny actors who are making it harder on everyone. So the plan that I use, like the $15.49 one, like the standard one, doesn't seem to be getting changed. But the ad tier plan is going to go from $9.99 to $11.99, which of course, right? They're going to make even more money off the ad tier.
The highest premium plan is going to be $23 a month.
Jeez.
What kind of psychopath would pay $23 a month for a Netflix subscription
to
when
watch-
there's not even anything to watch on it?
To just scroll for hours.
You really do.
Deciding.
It's more of a video game than it is an actual streaming service. It's a lot of like there's a lot of memes about it's like you make your food and then you spend your whole time eating it looking for something to watch rather than actually watching something. So
I'm
the
telling
thing
you,
you're supposed to do is you're supposed to find what you want to watch first, then make your food.
Oh, we're wisening up now to Netflix's garbage
sailing
selection.
the high seas is seriously the biggest step we can take in the culture war. Why is no one talking about this?
Elaborate. What is this?
Because you're justifying crime, so technical crime. So they probably.
I see.
I don't think anybody has a principled stance against sailing the high seas when the alternative is paying Netflix $23 a month for garbage
And stuff you don't want to watch. And it's not like it's going to the actors, right?
No, not enough of it. Oh, there's stuff that I've watched on Netflix that I don't hate, but like I watched Reptile, it was awful. I watched The Mother, it was awful. Extraction 2 is really, really good. Everything else that they've made, I know a lot of people really, really love One Piece, but that's one show in a sea of garbage. One Piece, Wednesday, Dahmer. Those were your and Inventing Anna. Right? That was Netflix, right? You got like your 4 shows that make them all the money or keep the people subscribed, and the rest of it is just sludge that nobody watches.
But each of those has like 10 episodes. So once you finish watching those, like why would you keep the platform?
Yeah.
Relying on you just forgetting about it?
Or just some people like it's like to rewatch stuff that isn't, but a lot of their licensed content is garbage now.
Yeah,
so.
and the bar I think has been lowered overall. So some people will just watch the other stuff and they've forgotten what good content is like because that's all they're given, which is not fair. People should be given good content for what they pay for. But I think people just watch it to watch it. Gabby
Hayes mentioned Slasher. I only watched the first season of Slasher, the one with Brandon J. McLaren. I didn't see the rest of it. So I heard that was fine, but I didn't watch past the rest of it. But the prices are getting ridiculous, and this is going to keep happening. They talked about this when the writers signed their deal, and the directors are yet to have signed their deals. So it's going to keep happening. It's a bummer. All right, Mary, what did you find for this one? This is the Hunger Games guy, the guy from the new one.
Rachel Zegler's co-star in the new Hunger Games movie responded to one of her haters on Instagram. Here's what the hater said. "Can you deliver a message for me? Tell Rachel Zegler that Snow White is going to suck." He responded, "Can you do me a favor and get a effing life?" Fair enough, though, right?
Yes, but he drags himself down to their level by taking the time to respond.
He had to sift through the thousands of comments that said the same exact thing.
Yeah.
And he couldn't come up with something more creative.
Do you think most of the comments were about her? He's probably mad that she's stealing the spotlight by being so disliked.
He's like, go get out of your mom's basement.
Yeah.
That's what it was, right?
I've never heard of this guy in my life.
Me neither.
Tom Blythe, is that it?
Not an actor
I don't know.
Not an actor that I've watched in anything. But
you'd think that they would be able to get some higher caliber actors in a Hunger Games property.
I mean, for the younger generation, that's like only so many people. Of he's at an age now where you're still establishing yourself. And all of the popular younger ones are like what? Finn Wolfhard, Sydney Sweeney, and Zendaya, and that's it.
Timothy
Chalamet. There's no way they're going
to.
They cannot afford Timothy Chalamet. Who
Timothy wouldn't want to do it anyway.
Yeah. They can't afford Tom Holland.
Tom Holland, no.
No. That's way too expensive.
Yeah.
Like they've elevated themselves past that.
This might be the thing that elevates him.
Theoretically, he would be looking to find his way to that next level by doing that. So, But yeah, I do love the idea of him saying to get a life, but he's like in the comments section reading it. He's on his phone. He's like, oh, he's totally
While on strike, by the way.
Yes.
That's why that's never a good comeback.
No, it's not.
Get a life. It's like you're engaging in the drama and the BS.
The only thing worse is if he threatened to like beat him up in IRL. He's like, why don't you come say that to my face?
Catch me outside.
Exactly. Wouldn't have worked.
Catch me in District 12, bitch.
So that would have been good.
So Gwyneth Paltrow, first of all, she doesn't like the term Nepo baby, which is funny because we did a story the other day about who was the Sammy Sheen story, and they wrote like a positive article about Sammy Sheen and Denise Richards and the creepy story about them doing OnlyFans together. And it's in the,
I don't think it was positive.
it was. No, the article was a defense of them, but the
really?
article listed them as Nepo baby. I'm like, so you're being like you're defending this person and insulting them at this. It was a Daily Beast article. So it was basically like even while defending them
They're
and their
like,
behavior,
hey, incest is okay, actually. Like,
but being a
good
Nepo
take.
baby is bad.
Yeah.
But being a
Okay.
Nepo baby is bad. So even when they
Wait,
defend
who
you,
are Gwyneth Paltrow's parents? That she's a Nepo baby.
Her dad was a super famous director, or producer maybe.
Because I've never heard of her parents.
Yeah, no, she's definitely an industry kid, like most people in Hollywood.
Her daughter is a Nepo baby.
Yeah,
Miss Apple Martin.
I really couldn't
Which
believe her name was Apple Martin.
yeah.
Apple Martini.
She'll eventually be a singer
cute.
with a song called Shaken Not Stirred. And it'll be really bad. It'll be awful. But yeah, and also she says she's just going to leave Hollywood eventually.
Good for her.
Well, here's what she said. It was actually very cryptic. She wants to sell her company, Goop, sell the vagina candles, the necklace, vibrators, and all to
One big package. She just puts it
Someone.
into a garbage bag and dumps
She's
it
gonna
in the
sell it to someone for, I don't know, probably more than it's worth.
It's got a huge, like her company was like valued in the billions of dollars.
No, yeah, she's done well for herself. She's going to make a dramatic exit. Quote, I will literally disappear from public life. No one will ever see me again.
I like it.
But I'm just questioning, like, what are you going to do with yourself, you know?
Would you be able to do that? Like if you were like that rich and you could just like disappear and never be seen again, would you do that?
I would love to. I think about doing that every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like,
go
what
into
would
the
she
mountains?
do?
What
with
does she do
herself,
now?
like,
Does she have
on a daily
kids?
basis?
Does she
She's
have like a
51.
family?
Yeah.
She does have her daughter.
Oh right. She has
I don't.
one kid.
Let me look up if there are any other children, but they're definitely adults by now.
But it's not like she's working regularly and like she's done.
Yeah, she has Apple and Moses.
Yeah, she could go skiing, hang
Get
out
into
with
more
her
ski
kids.
accidents.
She's married to a surfer dude, so maybe they
cute.
go surfing together.
That's perfect.
In
Yoga.
Montecito. I don't know.
Yoga.
Yeah,
Right?
do like start a
Yoga.
yoga retreat.
I
but
just
guess
can't
that's still
imagine
working.
like keeping yourself busy like that.
That's what I asked her. I was like, what would you do if you could?
What would I actually do?
Retire. What would you do with your time?
Yeah, I would say like if I were her, I'd want to hang out with my kids, and I would like just take up a bunch of new hobbies, learn
But
how
what
to
would
cook.
you wanna do?
I love to cook. I would want to learn how to cook more. I would probably do a lot of yoga related stuff actually. Maybe teaching yoga on the beach with my like surfer.
Okay.
Well, I guess it would just be me, but like maybe teaching yoga on the beach.
You could go look for
Yeah.
a surfer
Yeah,
husband on the beach.
There you go. Find a surfer husband on the beach to do yoga with. Yeah, I think also
It'll be Jonah Hill.
oh gosh, no. Perfect. I think a lot of celebrities, especially, they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna leave the spotlight forever. I hate it," and they come back like a year later. Especially if you are a nepo baby, like you were raised with that your whole life. I don't foresee her actually leaving and staying gone. I don't know any celebrities that have done that.
Who have left the public spotlight.
Yeah, and never at least somewhat come back or like dip their toes back
Rick
in.
Moranis tried and then like came back and then like got punched in the face in New York City.
Oh.
Rick Moranis.
Yeah, okay, so Rick,
didn't know
he was
that.
in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and he was
Oh,
in
that guy.
Ghostbusters. And when his wife died, he left acting
Yeah.
to take care of his family. And then like he just last year made like some statement where like he was apparently going to come back either to do the new Ghostbusters or also like they were talking about remaking Honey, I Shrunk the Kid, and he was like going to have a role in it. And like it's like a week after he made like this stuff started making the rounds, there was a video of somebody in New York. They were like playing the knockout game, and he just got drilled in the face, and it was on TMZ.
he's
And,
like, "I shouldn't
and
have come
collectively,
back."
America's heart broke.
No one
Yes.
is safe.
Also, beyond just beyond Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and beyond Ghostbusters is the 1994 classic Little Giants with Ed O'Neill, where the brothers play football coaches.
Yeah.
Like he's you learn about the annexation of Puerto Rico.
He was also in that movie with like the fake plants, the musical. Little House of Terrors or something. What's his name? I'll look it up.
Rick Moranis.
Right.
But yeah, like he's
Yeah.
so he successfully
Little Shop
left.
of Horrors.
Yes.
He successfully left public life, right? So like it could happen. What would you do?
I wouldn't. I don't think I could just like hang out for a living. Who could do that? That seems like it would just like make you depressed.
I could do it because I could just go skate every day.
Yeah.
Like that would be very
If you
easy
have like
for
some
me
kind
to-
of a hobby or a passion.
But you would just drive yourself crazy.
No, because right now I skate in between time between work, right? If I was able to just live freely and travel to go do it, I know people all over. I would just go travel and skate.
Okay, yeah.
Like that would-
Seeing
that would be
people.
Yeah,
But
like-
if she's famous, she doesn't really have the ability to just go in public and like
That's why I would
have
never
a normal
wanna be,
social life.
That's why I
Yeah.
would never want to be famous.
That's why she's kind of not able to
Yeah.
win either way.
True.
Plus, she doesn't want to deal with the dregs of society, anyways. Remember,
Yeah.
she's like the most inaccessible celebrity in the world. That's what we love about her. She doesn't even pretend to be like a normal
Except when
person.
you're bumping into people skiing.
Yes,
Or people are bumping into
and
you.
even then, like she won that court case anyway.
Yeah.
So
I think she should go back to acting. She hasn't acted in a while.
she should just go sell your house and go do yoga.
Just, learn to paint. Become an eccentric painter.
I don't, and that's almost too typical for like the Hollywood celebrity to be
She's
like,
already done all
who
of
is it?
that.
Wait,
Been
who is
there,
it?
done that.
Jim Carrey paints a lot. Jim Carrey does a lot of art, and then people have to
He
pretend
thinks
like
he's
it's,
really good.
I remember Mary
Bush
being
does-
like, I
George
can't
W.
believe
Bush.
people pretend this guy's art is good.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was awful. But then again, I'm not an art critic, so what do I know?
People just love Jim Carrey.
But all sorts of celebrities love to do like art installations.
When you
and
have
stuff
like that kind of money, you could learn to do anything for the rest of your life. She could
Yeah.
learn to play the harp. She could learn to play she could learn how to, I don't know, do like underwater basket weaving, or, like origami. Like she could entertain herself
Underwater
for years.
basket weaving.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis did retire from acting after he finished. He did all the movie roles he wanted to, and then called it quits.
Kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good for them. Yeah, I think I would be able to. Like to me, the reason why I go crazy over the weekends is because I know that I have to go back to work on Monday, so it limits what I can do with my free time. If I had the time to do it, I could very much make a good life out of just going and skating every day.
Yeah, and also is she saying she wants to stop working, or she just wants to leave the public eye?
Well, if
'Cause
she
those are
sells
two
her
very different
company, I would
things.
imagine that kind of means the same thing. So
She
she's
starts
not
like
going to
a-
act because that's in the public eye. She's not going to have her company. She's just going to kind of hang out for the
She
next
starts like
30
another
years.
brand, Goopy. Starts Goopy. Sells that one later too.
This is also a funny quote. I could never get attracted to the really rich guy.
Yeah, I was just about to say, what does that mean?
To what?
She could never get attracted to the really rich guy.
Because she's already got the
Wasn't
money.
Chris Martin rich
Like
when they started dating?
Yeah,
Like she's already got money, right? So it's like it's a little bit different. Like it would have to be like somebody who's like vastly wealthier than her.
So she's saying like I prefer to be wealthier than the men I date, which is really a kind of a
Ironic.
subversive take.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. She's like, look.
I mean, certainly her surfer husband is not as rich as her. So.
her and her husband are yelling. She's like, why don't you go surf on the beach, loser? Like
I don't know. I don't think that they fight.
when they fight, she calls him a beach bum.
Nah.
She's like, whatever, you freaking beach bum. Why don't you go hang 10, loser? That's what she says to him.
he's like, you know what, I will.
I look at her and I see somebody who could probably be pretty mean and cutting if she wanted to.
Oh yeah, no, she's been privileged, I guess, her whole life. So she probably doesn't hear the word no a lot.
They're like Michael Caine retired because he's like 90 gazillion years old. Like that's not the same as like leaving at like a like an earlier age. But yes, Michael Caine did just retire
She
from
probably
acting.
likes the surfer dude because he's probably extremely passive.
Chill like her.
Yeah, just very chill. I mean, I don't know if she is chill, but I would say just in general, whether she's chill or not, it works because he just kind of is probably appeasing.
I feel like there's a lot of anxiety that it takes to look this chill. Like when she makes her videos and she's like all relaxed and kind, there's a lot of neuroticism that goes into making that work.
Well, she already said that she hates making social media videos.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
All right. This was a funny one, guys. So Oprah Winfrey said that they only offered her $35,000 to star in The Color Purple, but it's the best $35,000 she ever made. First of all, she didn't star in A Color Purple. She was like she was a secondary character in Color Purple.
I never saw it.
Also, $35,000 when that movie made, somebody said was like $112,000 now, which I don't know if that's if she actually like understands that.
Yeah.
Like because she's worth so
It's all the
much
same
now.
to her.
I think 35,000 to her is like $5 to
Right.
us.
Yeah.
If you did the math. So yeah, she's lost all concept. I love when they ask celebrities or CEOs like, how much things in grocery stores cost because they just have no idea. But this was done years ago. They were guessing like, oh, a box of cereal, $12 or something ridiculous like that.
Bill Gates said like a loaf of bread was like.
They usually overestimated, but now watching it today, as grocery prices have inflated so much, it's getting to accuracy.
Wait, who was it that like? Was it Cardi B or was it Nicki Minaj that like she doesn't grocery shop herself, but like the lady who does the grocery shopping?
No, Cardi B was complaining about how
inflation,
like lettuce is too expensive these days.
Like,
it's like $7 for a head of lettuce. Love that.
That was really, really funny. But the best part about this comment from Oprah is everyone's like dunking on her. They're like, look, you're just trying to distract from that disastrous Hawaii like Maui relief fund that you guys did. And then somebody says Jonah Hill got $60,000 for Wolf of Wall Street over a 7-month shoot.
Damn.
And it says she didn't star in the movie. She wasn't even a co-star. She was a supporting actor. The constant PR push to make her folksy hero still doesn't detract from the Hawaii debacle.
Is she capable of not pissing people off for a week?
No. So he says, I never want to read or hear anything remotely related to Oprah being underpaid. and like, you know, but that's the thing, right? They don't understand that victimhood points only work a certain way.
Well, doesn't she have a pretty good origin story?
She's
she I think was like abused a lot as a child, or she had a really rough childhood and was self-made. Really.
So like she is a self-made woman. She just kind of forgot what it was like before she had all the riches and the fame.
But as you'd assume from somebody who just, you know, once you've done it for so long, she's like $35,000.
Yeah.
But like, not realizing that
touch.
to most people today, $112,000, even $35,000 for a single role is a lot of money.
Still, it's only like a down payment on a house in like Phoenix.
But $112,000 in
and she wasn't in very many scenes either. So like $35,000 to do like a handful of scenes is not bad.
I wonder what Whoopi Goldberg made for Sister Act. I would like to know.
Aren't they talking about rebooting that?
Yeah, no, they did. They I think they already did like a continuation that was like a Disney thing. Can you check that? Like
I didn't watch it.
There was like some type of Sister Act continuation, if I remember correctly.
I'm not.
Or maybe it never came out. Maybe that's one of those
Sister
things.
Act 3.
No.
Coming out.
When?
This is an article from March 7th.
Can it just
Sister
be
Act
one of the
3,
casualties of the strike? It's like, oh, we're gonna scrap that one.
Let it rest.
Mind.
Kind of like, did you know that they rebooted Doogie Howser, MD?
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was like a Hawaiian girl rather than
but like
Neil Patrick Harris.
What was that one show with the doctor who's autistic that
The Good Doctor?
We talked about too. Like, what is that trope about?
Autistic doctor?
Like young prodigy doctor kid, weird kid.
I mean that's an interesting premise. That's like,
but like you can only do it once. The right way.
Yeah, but Doogie Howser wasn't autistic, so
he was just smart.
He was just very, very smart for his age. Yeah, so it says I freaking hate the gut of some actors complaining over small salaries while their stagehands, grips, and other colleagues don't even make $2K a month on set. Not saying actors don't get much or any valuable work. Like, it's just funny because like they're all gonna have their levels of complaints and the things that bother them about that, and then the studio just has to sit up at the top and pretend to care. Like, they like work their best to make as much money as they can off this stuff that nobody wants to watch nowadays.
I think that they just want Oprah to start a bread line out of her mansion.
And you get a loaf, and you get a loaf, and you get a loaf. They should do that. She should absolutely do that. I mean, what was it? Lamar Odom started a rehabilitation center. Oprah can start a bread line.
I mean, until her net worth has been distributed equally among all American citizens, they're not going to be happy with anything she says.
No,
I'm not going to deny that she's out of touch, but some people just get mad at rich people for no reason.
And that's what's always funny about celebrities, right? Is they're simultaneously, they feel guilty for being rich, but at the same time, like they're not willing to accept that just like kind of like vaguely, you know, paying lip service to socialist causes and to this type of stuff isn't going to actually make the people that hate you like you.
I think that's why a lot of people like Elon Musk, because he doesn't seem to be apologetic for his wealth. And he doesn't crap on capitalism or anything like that. But he's about to charge people money to be on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, in this economy.
In this economy? There's a $20 one here from Jay Raymond. Says, I don't know, I used to work union lighting and sound in LA and made upwards of $125 an hour.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Let me get that.
Nice.
Yeah, would you pay money? Chat, would anybody here in the chat, would you pay money to tweet? Even just $1 a month?
No.
Because it's like it's going to be used to supposedly curb bot activity, to stop people from bot signups.
If you use it for work, that's understandable.
I guess that makes sense. Twitter Blue users won't have to do it, right?
Yeah.
Because they're already paying. I don't know. There was also a rumor that he's going to be banning X from Europe, like due to some regulation from the EU. But then the next day he tweeted that was totally untrue. So I don't know what to think.
I don't have anything interesting enough to say that's like worth like I don't believe for a second that anything I have to offer the world is worth $1. I don't.
It's not even $1 a year or a month.
So
it's
are
$1
you not
a year.
going to pay?
I
guess you already have the verification from Timcast, but if you didn't have it, would you pay for it yourself so that you could post?
What? My posts about shows that are 10 years old? Like nobody, it's not.
No, there's a demographic for that for sure.
I am not interesting enough to justify. Like if I really had a talent for it, if I was Chris Bertman and I knew how to, and I was really, really good at Twitter and felt like compelled to tweet all the time. I don't. Right? Like I don't have a lot to say most of the time. And the stuff that I do care about saying, I'm lucky enough to be able to say on here. So it's not like I wake up and I'm like, oh, that'd be great. And then I have to tweet it out and tell it to everyone. Like nothing I have to say is really all that interesting.
I wish more people felt like that.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
It's like offer yourself a challenge. Next time there's some type of global conflict, ask yourself this question. Is my opinion really all that interesting? Mine's not. It's not. My opinion's not really all that interesting. I don't blame people for not wanting to read it, nor would I pay $1 a month to do so.
But your tweet might stop World War III, Brett.
It's very.
You never know.
Maybe that's what it is. That's the start of my hero origin story.
Yeah,
is I prevent World War III. I get my very own version
tweet.
of singing Imagine via tweet,
Yes.
like Gal Gadot. That would be me. Would you pay it?
Well, I'm already on Twitter Blue, so I guess so.
Yeah. And but you don't even tweet that much, really, do you? Or maybe
No.
maybe algorithmically, I just don't see a lot.
No, I'm kind of the same as you. Like, I just don't feel that driven to post a lot of things these days.
I feel like when you
probably
do
should.
tweet, though, it's like meaningful and it's good.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
what I'm hoping for, is to not just spam the timeline with engagement farming like a lot of people do.
Mary waits and tweets something really profound. I tweet and say, "Did you ever watch that show Fringe?"
I mean, I don't say anything profound. I'm like waiting for the funniest thing possible. Like if I were Taylor Swift, I would tweet the N-word. Like that.
It's
Yeah.
quality, not quantity
Yeah.
with you. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I don't have anything all that interesting to say. It's just not that it's not that good for me. I like also because I'm one of those people where it's like I over explain. So it's not funny to over explain and it doesn't work in text form, right? Like it's like you were saying yesterday about Halloween costumes. If you have to explain the Halloween costume, it doesn't work.
Right, exactly.
If you have to explain the tweet, it doesn't work. So
It also gets you more impressions, though.
that is true.
True.
That is true. Also, guys, here's an interesting thing. So, like many things, what are some other recent trends that Gen Z picked up? That there was Gen Z's people who were getting flip phones, right? They wanted to get flip phones for a while.
I don't know if that was a widespread trend.
But it was a little bit of a trend,
I feel
right?
like anything that a few people make TikToks about is called a trend sweeping the nation.
What are some of the other ones that we've talked about recently?
Drinking borax.
Drinking
that's one I'll
borax
never
was
forget.
a trend for Gen Z. Yeah.
There's a new trend from Gen Z right now. It's called silent walking. It's very interesting.
The little sister of the hot girl walk, which was born from the pandemic and people being stuck in their houses.
What was the hot girl walk?
I remember.
It's just going on a walk and calling it a hot girl walk to, like, I don't know, romanticize it for yourself.
Or no, that's what we were talking. We were talking about something earlier about like people romanticizing their everyday.
Romanticize your life.
Yes.
Yeah, there are plenty of TikToks that are captioned like that, and it's just like, I don't know, filming your Snickers wrapper, or romanticize your Snickers.
But this is better. This is a silent walk is where you go and you walk without your phone.
Whoa.
Except for when you're making a TikTok about it, then you can have your phone.
Yeah. I actually saw like a story today. One of the most, if you want to see one of the most horrific like news sites you can check, just go to any like regularly updated news site and just use the tag influencer, and it will lead you to horrors beyond all comprehension. And there's this one where this lady says like, I was having a life-threatening allergic reaction and I made a TikTok rather than using my EpiPen. And she's like, I almost died, and they're like, no way. But it says they're gonna go on walks. They're not gonna use their phones. I can appreciate that. Like, I probably wouldn't be able to do that, not because of the using the phone part, but because of the listening to music part while walking.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Well, I mean, you should try it. I think you really bombard yourself with sensory overload, and it would be good for you to try a silent walk.
For the longest time, I thought that you were wearing a hearing aid, but you're just wearing a headphone all the time.
In the ear I can't hear out of.
Yeah.
In the ear that I can't hear out of. So people would, like, I do like that you thought I had like this like glowing hearing aid.
I don't know.
That, like, no, just there's always vaguely music playing in the background. It's kind of like you always have walk-up music everywhere you go. That's the beauty of not being able to hear out of that ear is like if it's on full blast, it's like vaguely heard on the other side of your head. So it feels like you've got background music everywhere you go. I like that.
I see.
There's a $20 one here from Forehead. Says Gen Z reinventing stuff we did not even 20 years ago. More at 9.
Well, they're doing something positive, and it should be praised.
I agree.
Silent walk. I mean, even if they want to give it a stupid name, something that's existed for thousands of years, that's fine. They're doing something that's wholesome and healthy.
But there is something about that, how like you could probably convince Gen Z to do just about anything as long as you gave it a trendy name.
Exactly.
Like maybe we could, like the drop out, like the don't go to college and waste your money challenge, where we just tell them, look, you don't need a 4-year degree. Like, unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, like, get a regular job and work your way up through management challenge. We could do that. And we could. Did you see that one that went viral the other day of the girl with the Starbucks cup who's talking about how awful?
Yes.
Like that, like that's like we need
Well,
to.
she's talking about how she went to college for marketing because that's what everyone told me to do. And then found out afterwards that she can't get any entry-level marketing jobs for a livable wage, and she's better off being a waitress or whatever. Yeah. And no one told her this.
All of my friends that work like as either like waiters at nice restaurants or bartenders are all like more than happy and doing well in their lives and are able to like take care of their families and work reasonable hours because they work at places where they can make a lot in a smaller amount of time while still having time for the people that they care about. They're always happier. And then they like, funnily enough, they're always very, they're very like magnet. Like they're not there to bash you when people tell them like I wasted 4 years at college and I'm now paying back $80,000 in debt. They're never smug about it. None of the people that I know are ever smug about the fact that
I don't know. I saw a lot of smug responses. Like, oh, you're gullible.
Well, but like at least for my friends, right? Like because back when they were younger, they were the ones that were receiving the brunt of the hate. With like, oh, you're not going to go to college, you're not going to get a degree, you're not going to put yourself into debt, you're going to work at McDonald's the rest of your life. They're like, I don't work at McDonald's now. Like, what are you talking about? So like, it's weird how they're not the ones who are like then throwing it back in their faces, but maybe they're going on. Like maybe they're going on silent walks to deal with the stress.
That's how they unwind.
Like, like what else? Like, I mean, because that's
well, if the girl wants a marketing job, instead of going to get a marketing degree, what does she do when she graduates high school? Does she try to get a marketing job at 18 years old?
You work in the mailroom at a company that does like that's what they would have told you back in the day. Yeah,
what does that mean today? There is no such thing as a mailroom.
I was thinking about this. No, there is. There still absolutely is at these big companies.
Mailrooms?
Oh yeah.
Which companies?
I said like at like a big Fortune 500
Microsoft?
company, there would still be stuff delivered. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, think about this. Like, if we're talking about like, because one of the things that people complain about the most in these situations is they complain about how like unpaid internships are wrong. Like, you should not be allowing people to just work for free. It's like, well, you could do the unpaid internship and use your free time to like work a regular job and hopefully be able to pay your bills on that, right? Or you could go to college and pay $80,000 and then still have to take an unpaid internship later. Or maybe you skip the unpaid internship a little bit, but then you have $80,000 in debt. So aren't you better off just working a regular job and taking the unpaid internship, as crappy as that is, than having to go get the degree that costs you almost $100,000?
I think if you're gonna go into debt, you should like go to culinary school just to get the discipline.
Yeah.
If you're gonna pay for school, it should be for something like that.
Yeah. Or bring back apprenticeship.
Yeah.
You know, like learning
Where's
directly
Donald Trump
from
when we
an
need
expert.
him to bring back The Apprentice? That's what we need. What if that's what he does? Like, maybe if he loses this election, well, the real benefit was we'll just get another round of The Apprentice from Donald Trump.
You know what? Instead of silent walking, how about like walking while talking to yourself and singing to yourself like a crazy person? I think that's a good one.
If you make
That's
it
a good trend.
it
No, they're
becomes
also
socially
gonna have
acceptable.
one
That's called, well, that's already schizo walking. That's already a trend.
They're gonna have one soon. It's gonna be like making food with loved ones and eating around a table trend.
Smiling and laughing with the people you care about.
I look, if it can get people to not buy, and then what's his name will come in and be really glad that you're not eating out.
Dave Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey will come in because, like, first of all, you're making dinner at home. You're not ordering Uber Eats, and you're spending time with people you care about. These are the wholesome trends. We're gonna trick Gen Z, just like we used to trick kids into eating their vegetables. We're gonna trick Gen Z into wholesome behavior by naming all this stuff trends. I think that's a good idea. I think we need to do that.
I love it. And then if you put hot girl in it too, then all the girls will do it.
Girl dinner. That's just poor dinner. Like I
No, it's like a charcuterie board.
It's poor dinner. It's
funny? Literally like high quality stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I did not think I did girl dinner, and the other night I caught myself eating like smoked prosciutto, goat cheese, like sliced goat cheese from Trader Joe's, and rosemary crackers. And someone else commented, I was like, "Oh, girl dinner," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I do it."
Yeah.
We're all guilty of it.
without even trying. Right?
Yeah, and it was delicious.
I don't do that, but I do just eat like just regular like salami and like meats and cheeses and
Boy
stuff
dinner?
like that. Is that what that is?
That's boy dinner.
So, yeah.
That became popular around here because everyone was doing keto for a long time. So just no bread. I'm like,
Just meat and cheese.
I'll take all the bread I
Dude.
can get if I can get it. But
I don't know why, but when I started here, it was like everyone was keto, and I'm like looking around like,
I was not.
what, am I the only sane person here?
I
was
never,
crazy.
keto snacks, keto
It was like
bars.
nobody was eating carbs.
Yeah.
I tend
It was like
to
another planet.
laugh at the it's very, very toxic of me, but I'm like, oh, you're trying to better yourself, huh? That's fucking lame. Like, good on ya.
Discipline.
Good on ya, I guess. Like,
There's a way to do keto that's healthy, but buying all like the supplement, like the bars and stuff that have the toxic chemicals and like
Eating
oils
monk
and
fruit
stuff,
candy.
yeah, it's not good for you.
Yeah, no.
But you'll be skinny.
all right, what would you guys like to see? Would you like to see cringe or cute of the day?
Up to you.
Let's start with cringe. I think we did.
We got
cute
two.
yesterday.
We got two cringes of the day here. Let's look at this one first. This is from Cher. It's starting again, ladies and gentlemen. She says that she's going to leave the country if Donald Trump is reelected. She almost got an ulcer last time.
So she didn't even get an ulcer.
No, she almost got an
How do
ulcer.
you know if you almost got an ulcer, Cher?
Was there like a conservative celebrity version of this? Was John Voight like, I'm gonna leave the country if Joe Biden is elected? Like,
Did any conservatives say that?
I don't know. Like, were any of them like? Was Kevin Sorbo like, I'm out of here? If,
I don't think conservatives
think
say
so.
that
Yeah, they
because
don't
they
say that kind of
actually
stuff.
like this country.
right.
yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
fundamental difference.
But yeah, she's already planning her exit. Is she the one with the boyfriend who's like 40? Mary.
Wait, what?
Cher.
Oh, yeah, he's like in his 30s still.
Maybe
actually.
that's what it is. Maybe she's just having a hard time keeping up with her boyfriend, and that's
She's
what's
in
giving
her
the
late
ulcer.
60s, right?
She's like 70.
Yeah, she is
70
old.
something.
Yeah. So she's just out there trying to keep up
Grooming
with her boyfriend.
40-year-old men.
He's a 40-year-old teenager.
How dare you, Cher?
Like,
How
it's-
share you?
Yeah, that was good. All right, and we got this one here. Mary found this one. God help us all. Sorry. But,
I've seen
But
this.
seriously,
It's Gorlock.
We have to share it.
Like, just based off of the conversation we're having now. Like if it were a date?
Yeah.
The guy's blindfolded, by the
But
way.
this
You
is
can see.
technically like a date, like a mini date.
Go back. You know I want to
I'm
see
not
it.
really sure. Kind of got a blindfold on, so I don't really know what to ask you.
You can
Okay,
take the
so
blindfold off.
I'm not your
What is that
typical
shirt?
10, so like
Why?
what are looks like everything to you? Like what is the vibe?
Not everything, but it plays a big part.
For sure. Well, with that being said, you can take your blindfold off.
Oh, fuck no. Jesus Christ. Get the fuck out of here.
Like just be
What is that shirt? Is that just like boobs spray painted onto a shirt?
It's like those swimsuits where it makes it look like you have a hairy chest.
Ew, why?
Oh my gosh, that was the greatest reaction ever. Like that was visceral. He couldn't.
He's like,
even-
you know, looks aren't everything. Takes off the blindfold. Oh!
looks are in fact everything.
It's
Right
shocking.
now, he just realized that was.
That was the moment he realized looks.
You know,
are
I'm not shallow.
everything.
Like, I'm down with a little cushion for the push-in, and then he takes off the blindfold. He's like, oh shit.
There was also another one recently where like Gorlock gets up and walks away, and somebody like smells the seat and like falls over. I'm not kidding.
Wait,
you.
what even is this? Like, what is this from?
I have no idea.
Is this like a dating show? I'm so confused.
Just gross. Just gross.
Maybe Gorlock should
Too
go on
far.
Love is Blind.
That's a good idea.
Then you'll know that love is truly blind.
That is a good idea.
Prove it to us all.
All right, let's do some cute. I actually do need a timeline cleanse now.
Yes, I agree.
All right, we got a couple here. This one is from Cam on Twitter. It says Scotty is still trying to figure out how water works.
Your dog is afraid of water.
That is adorable.
My dog was so afraid of the ocean for some reason.
This is from Al on Twitter. This is a great one. That is a very cute dog.
Cute.
Says, this is Sir the long-haired dachshund. Sir is short for Sir Charles Barkley.
Oh.
Sir eats a lot. Sir cries a lot. Sir poops a lot. There you go.
Multi-purpose.
Multi-purpose. It's very, very cute. Let's do one more here. This is from Josiah. It says, this is Katie.
Oh, it's beanie season.
It is
Yep.
beanie season right now.
Love that.
Appropriating homeless culture.
Very cute.
Is it? Am I appropriating homeless culture right now?
You absolutely are. You absolutely are.
I didn't know that homeless people like invented wearing beanies.
They did.
but okay.
All right, let's go ahead and get started then, shall we, Mary? Tell us what's going on with everything, because
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake, he's out here, he's sicking the bots on the Britney Spears stands to keep from this story about the abortion making it to the press, it seems like.
Well, you just told us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So that leaked, but also there was also pushback from somebody else who said that Britney Spears, that her decision
Well-
to talk about this stuff is not good.
So, yes, Britney's memoir revealed that in late 2000, Britney and Justin decided to get an abortion. And a lot of people are interpreting this as Justin Timberlake is the villain who pressured Britney into getting an abortion against her will. I disagree with that. I think that she made that choice of her own volition and shouldn't have listened to him. But at the same time, he shares blame if he was being negative about it the whole time and she started off with a positive outlook on it, right? But the Britney stans are rabid and they will defend her for anything. Justin Timberlake has to defend himself by hiring bots to get on his side.
He doesn't have any friends. Nobody loves him anymore. All the
At
NSYNC
least that's-
fans are okay with just hanging out with Lance Bass.
That's the accusation, at least. Some people are saying that this particular comment is getting copy and pasted by many supposedly fake accounts. Two consenting adults made a joint decision what was best for them at that period in their lives. I see no issue. That was copy and pasted by many accounts, and the screenshots prove that.
I got them up on screen right
So
there.
I don't know what else to conclude other than yes, these are bot accounts. So either some crazy Justin Timberlake fan hired bot accounts to do this, or it's Justin Timberlake's PR team or Justin Timberlake himself. I'm pretty sure that Justin Timberlake is behind this.
Yeah. Who would be crazy Justin Timberlake fans? I've never met
He
one in
doesn't
my
really
life.
have them. Britney does.
Right.
My favorite is the idea that he's actually doing it himself. He's just copying and pasting.
Well, it's her memoir, so she has the home field advantage right now.
She said she's not doing interviews either for this. She's not going to be doing any like interviews with people. Probably,
well, other than people.
She's like getting in there. They're like, you can't bring the knives in. She's like, I want to bring the knives in. They won't let her bring the knives in.
He said every time that she dances with her knives, she's imagining Justin Timberlake is there. What I think she's just slashing him. Yeah.
It's weird how this has become such a part of culture now, right? Like, we probably don't realize how many celebrities utilize things like this to like turn public, because people were talking about this during Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, that both sides were using bots to raise the profile for their side.
That was almost certainly true. But at the same time, I think there were some people outside of the case who had no reason to be interested in it that were also making bot accounts in favor of or against Johnny Depp.
It is also fair to point out,
I saw lots of bot comments.
It is also fair to point out that he is like NSYNC was like the biggest thing in the world at one. NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys were like the biggest thing in the world at one point. Not like he was also very, very famous as a solo artist for a lot of years.
He was the most famous member of the most famous band.
Like if you actually think about it, like it may just be because like stan culture is more likely to show up around Britney right now because Free Britney was just a couple years ago, which reinvigorated her image, like her public image with people. There's a lot of sympathy there. There isn't going to be a lot of sympathy for someone like Justin Timberlake in a situation like this.
The automatic assumption is anyone who was in Britney Spears' life before current day is a villain in the story where she's been the victim.
Yeah.
This one tweet against Britney Spears said, "What Britney Spears is doing to publicize her book is low, vile, and hostile. How can she give private details of the relationship she had with Justin Timberlake 20 years ago, considering that today Justin is a married man with children? She wants to destroy Justin any way she can."
Look, it is fair to point out.
Is she really vindictive or is she just kind of telling the story?
It is fair to point out that, like, look, if you both cheated on each other, because they did, right? You both cheated on each other. You've self-admitted that you both made the decision together to have the abortion. Yes, he pressured you to do so. You gave in to that pressure. This is not the story of like a domineering personality that maybe if there was no bad blood, a conversation could have gone on between them about what the repercussions of something like this are. But I'm also not going to fault her for like wanting to put her story out there, given that it's her story to tell. But if there was no bad blood, she's not
accusing him of being abusive, though. She's just kind of stating that he was not the best boyfriend.
And that goes hand in hand with all this other stuff that's being said about him, like whether it's the Janet Jackson stuff. Also, the news articles are taking care to bring up all of these other instances where he has these very early 2000s conversations where interviewers are like, "So are you having sex with Britney Spears?" And he like he answers the question, and that was what he was, I guess, not supposed to do. He's like, "Yes, I've had sex with Britney Spears." It's a very question. Like,
why would they even ask him that question?
Because it was the early 2000s. It was
Howard Stern, wasn't it?
Jock was.
But isn't that like self-explanatory?
The point is it would have been considered taboo at the time because that stuff wasn't as public. She was a sexualized public figure, but she was only recently an adult in those years. So it was it's kind of like Ashton Kutcher.
They're the same age too. Yes. So it's even weirder. You're also asking another teenager about their sex life. Yeah.
But at that time, that type of like shock jock question was very, very common. I imagine that it would be Alex Stein asking that question if it was to happen in today's day.
I think
he's the new Howard Stern.
Yeah.
With the story of her getting the abortion, people just don't know what to do with this, like this moral conundrum, because we live in the age of shout your abortion. This is something to be celebrated. This is not traumatizing. This is not a negative experience. And, you can never see it in a negative light. But then when she says Justin Timberlake was in favor of it and she wasn't, how is the man supposed to be right, but the woman is wrong? Like, I don't know. Because feminists are just kind of short-circuiting right now. They don't know what to make of it.
No, to them it doesn't matter as long as the woman makes the decision, right? The guy is always wrong in the situation and the girl is always
right. But then the bot account is saying 2 consenting adults made the decision. But like, according to feminist dogma, he should have nothing to do with the decision of whether his child is kept alive, right?
Right.
One Britney stan said, the issue isn't him not wanting to be a father, it's the timeline of it all. The abortion, the breakup, the every time video, and then him using the breakup and her trauma to absolutely catalyst his solo career.
Wait, didn't she use her song to do the same thing?
What was her song?
Well, like the song isn't she
Every Time?
monetizing her own trauma?
Yeah.
People are reinterpreting Every Time now that came out in 2004 to mean that she was singing about her aborted child, not about Justin Timberlake.
So she's allowed to profit from her trauma. He's not allowed to profit
And
from
also,
a bad breakup because he's the bad guy.
Right. And it's not just her story to tell. It's their story together. It was their child. So I do feel like he deserved at least some kind of a warning that this was about to be published in a book.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be fair.
I'm sorry, but the idea that all of this was the catalyst for his solo career.
Yeah, that's not
please.
it.
Yeah.
He didn't build a
he
career off
was in
of her.
the big one of the two biggest groups of all time. There was a time when you could not turn on the frickin' radio without hearing one of his songs.
Yeah.
And there was actually a lot. There was many years in between there where you forgot that they were ever even together. Like until this came up, I was like, oh yeah. That was a thing.
Are they saying that because Cry Me a River was his first breakout solo hit and it was about her cheating?
I guess.
Because, I mean, that song was going to be famous regardless.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that it was about Britney Spears at the time. And it was still
that's
everywhere.
what I said to Mary. I said, like, when people had to hear this song every 5 minutes on the radio, nobody cared or knew what it was about. And the only ones that did have already made up their mind because they're so deeply entrenched in whatever, famous celebrity subculture they're into. They've already made their mind up about it. If there was a Tumblr back then, that's where they would have been talking
Well, that's
about
just
it.
what I heard about it after the fact, but obviously I wasn't culturally aware in 2004 or whatever.
To them, that's a rewrite of history.
Yeah, I guess. The comment finished, Britney would have wanted that baby, even if the trajectory of her career may have changed. That's trauma in itself. It's not that he didn't want to be a dad. He was honest. It's that he capitalized off of her pain, was silent during her imprisonment, aka her conservatorship, and has just been a truly awful friend to her.
And yeah, in the chat, Bond, he's right. Timberlake is the one who produced Cry Me a River, and he was very, very big at that time. I mean, he still is, but like that was a big thing at that time. And
what could Justin Timberlake have said during Britney's conservatorship that would have changed anything?
Nothing.
And
Like-
maybe he felt like she needed it.
If not, made it worse for her.
One thing I've learned is that anytime a response is demanded of you, there is no right answer.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Ever.
Right.
And I mean, and that's on there's the macro scale of that, right? Like, it's like when you do even a show like this, where people want you to do things a certain way, or people ask your opinions on certain topics, and you're like, or on things like on segments that we've done, right? And people like want clarification about something you've said. It doesn't matter because they've already deconstructed what you said to mean whatever they whatever they want you to have meant, rather than what you actually meant. And there's a bit of a gap there between like language, intent of conversation, and how it's viewed by people from the outside. Now combine that with interpersonal relations, tons of money, and celebrity status at the level in which they have it. There's no right answer.
Right. And
like,
a huge secret that was kept.
And the only right answer, like realistically, the only right answer back then would have been him to say, do whatever you want, I support you. Like that's the only right answer. What was he supposed to say about the conservatorship? Because the opinion about the conservatorship was not the opinion of the culture now, which is that it was over the top and wasn't needed. Back then, the culture was whipped up into a frenzy to believe that this lady was insane. So he would have been acting against the public narrative back then to say that. And who's to say he even knew that,
Why would he even
it.
be aware of that when he's got his own life going on that's completely separate from hers? It's not like he has news alerts on for his ex-girlfriend from when he was a teenager.
And also remember that they're downplaying the fact that both of them cheated on each other. This is just two people who weren't loyal to one another, making mistakes and then one making a book out of it now, and the other one hasn't written a book.
Well, Justin Timberlake just needs to make his counter memoir so he can tell the real tea about their relationship from 20 years ago that he totally still cares about.
Well, and you made a joke earlier about his career, but he isn't unsuccessful. He is still
No, I wouldn't say
plenty
he's unsuccessful.
He is I actually made the joke. I said the actual downside here is that he's finally doing something with NSYNC again. So now he probably does feel like he's failing a little bit because all the other guys, the big artists of the group, like Beyonce doesn't care about a Destiny's Child reunion as much as the other two do.
Well, I think that's why they're resisting doing a reunion tour, because that would really solidify it. But somehow the Jonas Brothers got away with it. They really capitalized
because
off
none of them
nostalgia.
none of them had extensively successful solo careers outside of the group. Not at the
Nick
level.
Jonas kind of did.
Not at the level
Not in
that Justin
music, I
Timberlake
guess,
did.
though.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different, maybe.
Not at the level that Justin Timberlake had, though.
Yeah.
And he was always in fact, out of the two big ones, he is the most successful of the between them and the Backstreet Boys. I guess who is it? Was it Nick Carter or Aaron Carter that was
Nick Carter.
Okay,
Well, if you can't remember, that makes your point.
none of them had the solo careers that he did.
Yeah.
Yep.
In any of those groups. And then remember the group LFO? Two of those members have passed. 98 Degrees, Nick Lachey was kind of successful because he married
Doesn't he
Jessica
run?
Simpson.
Wait, I'm confused now. Isn't he the host of Love Is Blind?
Yeah, he's he turned into a Carson Daly type person.
Yeah.
But he was pretty successful. But but Justin Timberlake was the most successful out of all of those, which is why stuff like this ends up in the book.
Another thing that ended up in the book was Britney Spears confirmed that Justin Timberlake broke up with her via text, which is
go ahead.
In 2002.
So ahead of his time.
That's really kind of groundbreaking. He might have been the first to do it.
He set the bar. He's like,
and he did it on one of those phones where you have to press the button 5 times.
He's like, break.
It literally would have been easier to meet her in person or call her, but he made the point to text her.
It's not you. It's me. Period. Less than 3. No, less than.
Less than / 3. It's not you, the letter U.
I never did that. Even back then, I never shorthand typed. I hadn't seen, because everybody had phones like this for years, and my dad would still send me texts because my dad finally got a smartphone this year, but my dad would send me texts with the letter U, and it was great. It was just such a throwback. So, and also he would have had to figure it out. He'd have to figure it out in the appropriate character limit, because he would have had a certain the SMS would send over a certain length there.
Sent
and
in
then he would have had to make sure he had to go check his phone plan to make sure that he had enough text left in his plan to send it without an additional charge.
8 p.m.
That was an expensive text he sent if he didn't wait till after 8 p.m. to send it to her.
The idea that with all this money, he's still waiting.
He's like, how do you think I stay rich? I wait till after 9 p.m. to send my breakup texts. I know what I'm doing.
I think they said that she started filming a music video right after she got the breakup text, but that's just sounds a little too Hollywood.
Yeah,
it's
very dramatic.
Who were you talking about recently? That was it Miley Cyrus or somebody got broken up with right before she went live?
No, it was Katy Perry got the text from Russell Brand on her documentary about their divorce right before she got beamed up onto the stage.
I don't believe it. Do you guys buy that?
I buy
Maybe.
it.
Yeah.
I buy it, yeah.
I guess she said that she got the text about we're getting a divorce from Russell Brand, and then never really saw him again.
It's just, I think a lot of it is a little bit of sour grapes, because his career skyrocketed. He went on to be very successful. He, like I said, he's not just a musician. He acts too. He's multi-talented.
He's a musician?
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
There's plenty of people who are isn't he the guy from the Lonely Island videos? That's how Gen Z knows him, because he was in Dick in a Box with Andy Samberg. It was,
Gen Z knows who Justin Timberlake is.
So let's I just say people back then, imagine keeping that phone. I just saw a thing the other day where it's like people were selling like iPhone 7s or iPhone 6s with the old Twitter logo on there for like $3,000.
What?
So it's like, imagine he
Why?
selling. Like,
I have one of those laying around.
What was the app? The app that was addictive. The guy who made it like
Flappy
pulled
Bird.
Flappy Bird. Okay, so
Self-imploded.
you can buy phones with Flappy Bird on it on eBay for extensive amounts of money.
That's kind of crazy, given that there are already copycat versions of the same game.
People wanted the original. Apparently, the high was probably only as good on the original version of it.
I can't imagine being that guy. You're just gonna forfeit millions of dollars because you feel like it's bad that people are playing Flappy Bird.
What? I feel like that stands for what you guys usually talk about, like morals over profit. No,
It's not immoral to sell a mobile game.
well, maybe he one
It's
day
their
was
problem
like,
if they spend 4 hours a day doing it.
right. Maybe one of his kids got like super addicted to the game, and he
He's
was
like,
like,
"Look,
"What have I become?"
Created it for my son.
What have I
because he wanted a game to play. Now he beats me up every time I try to take the phone away. It's awful.
Okay, let's go to
Let's go to
Super
Super
Chats.
Chats.
Jacob Edler said test. He sent us a test.
Thank
Shane H.
you.
Wilder said it's early yet, but looks like Mary will be the new Elsa. I guess she's gonna have to let it go. I'm sorry. I'll get my coat and see myself
No,
out.
that was beautifully done. That was beautifully done.
Urashima Otaru said, according to her cousin, Oprah lied about her past.
You never know.
So she didn't have a rough childhood?
He said she
She's
said.
a nepo baby, maybe.
I feel like a lot of people do that, though. Like, when you can't verify the facts, they'll just make up a sob story.
Yeah.
Let's hold off on the rest, guys. Let's get a crisis party, huh? I'd like a crisis party today. Let's move on. So
Okay.
let's go ahead and talk about this topic. This is kind of interesting. So there's a lady. Her name is Janelle English. She is what we have dubbed the inclusivity czar for the Oscars. She was hired last year, and she has since left the employment of the Oscars because she had to deal with macroaggressions and, more importantly, microaggressions from her coworkers.
We've got a $20 one from Disco Jensen. I'm trying to sell a book. In the meantime, here's some juicy unconfirmed taboos from 20 years ago.
Exactly. It's the bad behavior to memoir pipeline that they send every one of these Hollywood celebrities on.
Yeah.
Every single time.
I mean, I wish that we were still in a place in society where abortion was taboo, but
That
not.
was okay when we were talking about that. Like that was a weird thing to kind of come to terms with. Where I was like, yeah, back then I guess it would have still been a fairly scandalous story to hear that she had an abortion. Nowadays they would have been like, good for you.
Yeah.
That's what they would say.
And sorry, let's
play the victim card.
let's reel it back in.
Okay.
All right.
I started reading this woman's piece in the LA Times, and the first sentence, guys, I'm not kidding, says, like most women, I share an intimate relationship with my gynecologist.
It's like the Barbie movie all over again.
If you have an intimate relationship with your gynecologist, I would be worried.
That's problematic. Yeah.
I would report them to the police. Yes, I would. That's worrisome to hear.
It's like you're I like the idea that like she's got like a boyfriend, he's super jealous, and he's going through her phone and like he's checking all of her speed dials, and number 2 is her gynecologist, and he's like, what the fuck? Okay.
So she said that her job as the inclusivity DEI czar for the Oscars was so stressful that she lost her period and finally got it back after resigning. It says, somewhere during my career journey, I forgot to rest. I can easily blame capitalism and perfectionism. Okay.
I love
and it says both plague disproportionately Black women.
yes. Only Black women deal with stress and
Right.
and having to make
Yeah.
money in a capitalist system.
Another thing that she said was it's far too much pressure to be professional in a job, to speak like an adult, go to work every day,
Yeah.
be articulate.
Yeah. Is everyone in this company okay? Should we check on each other?
I think what's weird about this, she also talks about disrupting the system. Like that's a big part of what she says here. She says, I got to find this.
Disrupting what system?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it here.
In Hollywood, she means?
Yeah, where was it? It says, I became the... let's go through. She says, while working at the Academy, I became the recipient of a steady flux of micro and macroaggressions, she wrote. I anticipated and grew accustomed to being regularly challenged publicly and privately. If you're a professional in a professional setting and you're going to have conflict with other people because that's the nature of the beast at your work, then that's going to happen. It is not a microaggression or a macroaggression to disagree with someone and get into conflict with them at work. That's only true if you're operating under the premise that they're doing so in bad faith and they're not just trying to do their job, but it's actually a narcissistic belief that it's an attack on you to call anything you say into question. That's not how the world works.
She said that there's been a recent exodus of black women in DEI roles in Hollywood. Is that true?
Like they're saying that a lot of them like got hired after what happened with George Floyd and then COVID and then like...
Right, it's not an exodus, it's just the fact that the use for their roles got expended and then they got fired or their departments got dissolved because Hollywood no longer needed them to virtue signal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I gotta find this paragraph. There was just a really funny thing that she said here about disrupting the system, where she says,
"What was the case with Disney's DEI?"
She's been let go.
She was fired.
Yeah,
like she didn't step away from the role willingly.
So she goes on to brag, disrupting institutional legacy to facilitate a more equitable awards process and organization. She also quote contributed to a more inclusive approach to the Academy's work as a film archive and library. Well, like, look, she's talking about being tired. Look, if you're going to be a social disruptor, that's time and energy consuming. I don't really think that you should be allowed to expect to disrupt the legacy of like a company or an industry that's been around for over 100 years. The Academy's been around for like the 80 years. You should at least break a sweat while disrupting the system. Yeah. If you're going to be a social disruptor, you should at least expect to be out of breath when you're done doing so.
This is funny. John Nolte's just the best. It's a job, lady. Most people make beds, sweep floors, spray roaches, cut hair, input code, flip burgers, grease engines, milk cows, dig coal, fight fires, clean bedpans. You're almost certainly being overpaid to work for the movies, and we have to sit here and listen to you whine about your joy.
It's all. I mean, it's kind of like look, what like.
I mean, it's not surprising that working in a DEI department would sap you of all of your joy because all of these people are joyless. See you next Tuesdays. Like that's literally what their job is to kill all joy and make everything about interpreting social hierarchies and including people who have a bone to pick with the system.
It's like them in HR departments are probably equally as miserable because they never get to see. It's kind of like cops, right? You don't ever like no cop ever sees you on your best day. A cop never sees you on your best day. He sees you on your worst day. Right? Yeah. Like it's a recipe for cynicism and unhappiness for like at least the cop has the idea of like, look, we're contributing to society by supposedly making a safer world to live in, whatever your take on that is being true or not, whatever. But like her, I guess she has to operate under the premise that I guess she's making Hollywood less racist. So maybe she is just not getting as much joy out of that as she thought she was going to get. We get a $20 one here from Nate. Says party time. Yes, that will exactly contribute to the party. So thank you for that. Thank you so much. But like
this type of person is exactly why Mads Mikkelsen had that viral moment where he laughed in the face of this journalist who said, hey, so since your movie is about Nordic people and isn't racially diverse, how do you feel about the fact that it's not going to be eligible for Oscars under all of these new requirements? Mads Mikkelsen assumed off the bat that this journalist was saying it in an antagonistic way,
which he was not,
and accusing him of being racist for not hiring black people to play like Nordic, people that live in Norway in the 1700s. Because killjoys like this are running the administrative departments of everywhere in Hollywood. And it's not even at the point where they've fully rolled out these new Oscars requirements for DEI, that's like they're aiming for like 2026 or something. That's how long this is going to take to fully be realized. And like the consequence is killing creativity.
There's a lot of tepidness. Like I was watching a video earlier from Zach from Comics Matter, who was talking about how like there's no desire to ever be subversive anymore, like actually subversive or actually like edgy, because the people that are there to complain, the ones who are there to constantly nip at you and tell you that what you do is bad, are kind of omnipresent. So these industries, if they really want to regain the foothold they had in American culture, is they would have to be willing to be truly subversive. And doing that now, they call what they do subversive. It's not. Everything that they do now is run through the status quo. But at the end of the day, for this lady, like the average person, regardless of what industry they work in. Well, we got a $20 one here from Grant Arnett, says, can't wait for Brett to star in Bent Key's next movie, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, as Quasimodo. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Did you ever think of that? Maybe I will. I could do that. I could absolutely do that. I could be one of the dwarves in this. I'm still willing to be one of the dwarves.
Which one?
You get Esmeralda.
Well, not Sleepy, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like when we talk about Mary. Sometimes it's party time. Sometimes we will address or talk about like what like the struggles are to do what we do. But at the end of the day, nobody cares. Like the people watching, they don't want to hear about it. They don't want to hear our woe is me story about what makes our job difficult. They want to be entertained by the stuff that we make, and hopefully they are. But nobody really, like, I think that's true of all jobs. Like, it's just, you're not gonna, when there's people out there in the mines, when there's people out there working, 12 hours a day construction in like boiling hot Arizona weather, right? Like there's just so much in the world. And at the end of the day, my dad would always say, he's like, look, it is weird, but it is true. There's always going to be somebody that has it worse than you.
This sort of reminds me of that gaming studio that had to relent and give like, what was it? Like unlimited menstrual leave days to their uterus having employees. Like, I don't know, like, if your period makes it impossible for you to go to work, then you probably just shouldn't have a job, because that's like a disability.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things. I just think that the average person, you're never going to be able to truly understand what somebody else's struggles are. So it's very hard to make a whole industry based off the struggles of others, because it doesn't make you a bad person to not be able to 110% relate to what somebody else is going through. And it makes us seem like whiners if we're going to complain about, the things that make our job difficult. Right? So her talking about the microaggressions and the macroaggressions of the doofy losers in Hollywood who aren't treating her with 110% deference. Like, just who cares? And
someone who's constantly writing a mental ledger of every slight infraction that other people are guilty of around them. Like, of course they're going to feel aggressed and victimized. And you're constantly searching for ways to feel victimized. Well,
yeah, they overanalyze everything you say. Right. Like,
you know what? It's hard not to, like, I don't know. A lot of people feel sympathetic to the calls for diversity and representation, because they're like, kids need to see characters that look like them when they're growing up, or they're going to feel like something is wrong with them. But it's hard for me when actual tyrants like this exist to respond to that with anything but like, no, like, F you, I don't care about your movement. And I don't feel shy about saying, like, I want to see movies where people look like me. I want to see movies with white people. Yeah. Like, I would like for some movies to still have white people in them by 2030, please. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care anymore. I don't have the ability to meet them halfway.
That was like when I, like, actually, this is the next article we're talking about, but when I went to Victoria's Secret last year, I remember looking at all the models and not a single one looked like me.
Well, we're gonna get
When
into
they're
that.
theoretically
Yeah.
trying to represent the average woman, right?
Right,
Like,
exactly. Or like minority women, which I don't think technically Iranians fall under, but being Middle Eastern, I'm like, okay, isn't this supposed to represent me or like non-white people? And I don't see anyone who reminds me of myself who has my skin tone, hair color, eye color, and body type. It's like one or the other.
They either go for someone who's extraordinarily hot or extraordinarily fat and ugly. And nothing in between.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm the in between.
I'm just never gonna care. Like what they look like in the movies, I don't care. I just don't want them to brag about it like they're changing the world by doing it. Like I don't care
Right.
what they look like. Just stop acting.
We
like they're
shouldn't raise
sitting-
people by telling them like you were here
Yeah.
to change the world.
Also, frankly, yesterday we were talking on IRL about Ron DeSantis wearing high heels. On the campaign trail. I said, what about
Was
me?
that confirmed?
There's some hilarious videos. You should go watch them.
His boots have like mega lifts.
Oh,
hidden
But as far as
inside
I'm
them.
concerned, he's losing the short king vote by not. I want a
don't be
president I can
ashamed.
identify with.
Right, embrace it.
I need a president who I believe that I could beat in an arm wrestling match. Like the point being, right?
Haven't most world leaders been under 6 feet anyway?
I guess what they were saying was like nowadays that's in America that's not going to work, but like back in the day they were all shorter because people were just shorter hundreds of years ago.
guess.
But now it's like Donald Trump is what 6'4".
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like
So
that.
like he towers over people, and Ron DeSantis is like
Is he short? How tall is he?
I saw reports of
5'8".
5'11", like 5'11",
a
and
big
then his
contrast.
wife's height changed from like 5'5" to 5'9". Theoretically, because like if he's 5'8" and she's 5'5", that explains the height difference. But maybe they changed her height to 5'9", so that he,
Appears
the fact that
taller.
he's only a couple inches taller than means, he is 5'11". Like,
Wait,
like
let
where
me
is
see
the-
what Google
Where
says.
is my short representation in movies outside of Tom Cruise? Is that all I get?
I feel like there's a lot of short actors.
Yeah, but not. I mean, they're like 5'9".
But not like action. Tom Holland,
He's 5'8",
5'8".
I believe. But the average actor. All I'm saying is like if representation matters, then I want the
Yeah.
I want the
Okay.
two
Across
different
the
color
board.
eye
Yeah,
representation.
across the board representation.
Is Ron DeSantis wearing hidden platform heels inside his stupid, ugly boots?
Oh man.
An investigation.
Yes. And my best was what they pointed out. They said somebody was like an opposition research person, like did all the sleuthing on that. It's like, imagine being a person who like went to college for 4 years, gets your degree in political science. Maybe you've also got your law degree. And they're like, could you look up whether Ron DeSantis is putting lifts in his shoes?
This is crazy. No one on earth knows how tall Ron DeSantis actually is.
Yep. He's the Ralph Northam of height. Like the Ralph Northam, they don't know if he was the
Ron
white-
DeSantis should just kind of floof up the hair.
Yes.
to
we just
make
need
up
him to
for the
stand next
height.
to Donald Trump, then we'll know.
Yep.
Yeah.
There have to be photos.
But then
out there.
he'll be in the heels, so we won't actually know. But
President-
even when he's wearing the heels, he's still
Do
shorter
you think
than
people
Trump.
ever cared this much about how tall, like the height of the president?
Like we need it. We
I
need
don't
President
know.
Short King.
Like,
I guess maybe not.
yeah, this is like a great
Maybe
heated
we didn't.
debate. Is he wearing heels or not?
I've heard
It goes deep.
multiple
He
women
is. He
lately
totally
say that
is.
they don't actually care about men's height. I think they're lying, at least if not to themselves, then to the
They're-
public at large.
Women care that a guy's taller than them.
Yeah.
And you're coping, Brett.
No, I just said I think that they care.
No woman actually cares whether a guy is like over 6 foot. They just care about him being taller than them.
Yeah, agreed.
How is that me coping? I'm just saying I've heard it lately. That's not me making a judgment on it. I'm just.
But it's
saying,
like, like women are lying to themselves. Like they're not. Like they only care about him being taller.
We'll let the chat
than
decide
her.
that. We'll let the chat decide. The point being for this article is that it sounds like a miserable job to have to do
Yes.
something like that, but they don't mind doing miserable jobs if it means they can get social capital out of it. So it must have been a truly miserable job for her if her gynecologist helped her come to this conclusion.
Yeah.
Isn't Dane our chief diversity officer?
Yes, he is.
He would be the expert on this.
Well, no, you could be the chief diversity officer now because they're mostly women anyways.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Okay.
you know.
As long as they
But
vaguely
Dane
meet
is
the
every
requirements.
woman.
That's true. You'll have to fight Dane over that position.
All right, let's go to Super Chats. Shane H. Wilder said, I'm already blue checked, so I guess I would. It's hard out here for a meme lord. Forehead said, oh, sorry, we already read that one. Shane H. Wilder, I was silent walking before it was cool. Then again, I also use it for silent meditation and prayer, exercise both body and spirit. Jacob Edler said they do silent.
Can you read the last one again?
Okay, why?
I didn't catch it.
I was silent walking before it was cool. Then again, I also use it for silent meditation and prayer, exercise both body and spirit.
Oh, yeah, I can't do the meditation thing. I could probably do the silent walking. I don't think the idea of also being immobile while doing it, my ADHD brain doesn't compute that way. I think my head would explode.
It's a loop. It's like the ADHD increases like the less you force yourself to meditate and sit in silence.
I do
At
notice
first it's hard, but it gets easier.
Recently, like when I'm good about forcing myself off my phone at an earlier time, like I'm generally less anxious at the end of the night. If I'm on my phone too late, the anxiety is usually more pronounced.
Yeah,
even though there's nothing to be anxious about, it's just all the blue light and you know.
Yeah,
just
there's a correlation there.
Jacob Edler said they do silent walking to get off on the anxiety and then get attention for it. Mental illness and first world suffering is a virtue to Gen Z.
I mean, I think it's more like they're looking at the world through the lens of someone who just didn't exist at a time when you didn't have all this stimuli, right? So they're just making sense of the world in a way that you did 20 years ago, but with they have different hurdles that they have to get over to do it. For me, 20 years ago, it would have been to not be in front of my TV or not playing video games to go silent walk. Now it's like you have to not just do that, but you also have this device that you carry around in your pocket that you have to actively leave behind. I think it's a lot of the same type of challenges, just different things that come up in the middle of it.
I think it's also very like, oh, I made my bed this morning. I deserve a gold star. Oh, I took out the trash today. I deserve a gold star. I think that's become rampant with social media.
I'm very good about like now making my bed every morning. That's become like crucial to my routine. Like to make I never cared before. Now, like I used to make my bed when I got home. Now I make it right away when I get up in the morning, and it's like very much a calming thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like reestablishing order around you before you get started on your day.
Yeah, the room doesn't look finished if the bed's not made.
Yeah. Yep.
Disco Jensen said, I'm trying to sell a book. Oh, I already read this one.
Let's do one more.
RCW said, Greta Thunberg is a man.
Well, okay then.
That's a bold statement. Are you willing to back
On
it up?
that note.
Do you have proof? Do you think this is true?
Disavow. I have no idea. So somebody show me the proof.
She could be anything. I just don't believe she's whatever she says she is, a young female activist.
So she's
There's
not
something
human at
weird
all.
about her.
Probably
Yeah,
an alien.
Potentially.
She could be one of the. Maybe she was like the maybe like that alien that the Mexican government put out there, the paper mache one. Maybe that's one of her family
Kind of
members.
looks like her, huh?
That's kind of possible, right? Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's move on, shall we?
The Victoria's Secret Executive Board has issued an official mea culpa for doing this horrible, inclusive DEI woke rebrand with Victoria's Secret, taking the sexiness away and replacing it with including every race, every gender, disability, and size 14s through like everyone has to be included. Therefore, no one is actually represented.
There's a $20 one here from Corey Anderson. It says, now with Brett Cooper off the market, I will have to put all my simping energy into Mary and HCB. I wonder how many guys will stop watching her videos.
I think you should like not simp.
Yeah.
Like don't have simping energy to direct anywhere.
Like if you're
that would
watching-
be positive for you.
If you watch her videos, you should be watching them because she's making content that you enjoy.
Right.
I hope you're joking is all I'm saying.
If the fact that she's beautiful helps, that's fine. Like everyone likes looking at attractive people. But like the idea that people like unfollow, I mean, that is like a tactic too, right? Like they encourage a lot of the streamers, the female streamers, like, look, don't tell people you're married. Don't tell people you're in a relationship, because it ruins this weird fantasy that people tend to have in those situations. And it's not even like super external, right? It's just in the back of your mind, the idea that this person isn't like a fully defined adult with like a husband and responsibilities. Like they're like, there's a weird type of gap between what a person that you're witnessing, that you're watching content of, what they mean to you, because it's a weird exchange, like your attention, their information. And there's just something about that, the way that it's designed between you and the other person. And it's very different, obviously, for men and women, right? Like the way that women and men perceive online content is very different, and the way women and men present online content have different, drawbacks and have different positives. So
You mean like women don't simp as much?
I don't know. Like that's like, I feel like women simp more for like regular celebrities and stan more.
I think it's just as much for either.
But I guess it would depend on the content being made too, right? Are there a lot of guys, like when guys watch content, Brett Cooper might be one of the exceptions, where it's like guys watching content on YouTube, like what female YouTube creators are they making? Are they watching that aren't somebody that's making somewhat sexualized content? Brett Cooper might be one of those examples of someone who isn't, right?
There's a $20 one.
From Corey Anderson says, Mary, I was joking. Brett didn't read the LOL. Oh, there's an LOL at the end.
I'm glad that you were joking, Corey. But anyway, back to Victoria's Secret. Their DEI rebrand sort of began a couple of years ago, but I remember it tracing back even before the pandemic era, which is basically like eons ago. This Barstool article kind of put it best. Humans are attracted to certain other humans, and those other humans would be the ones we find, wait for it, physically attractive. Yep. Which sounds obvious enough, but corporate America has been trying to gaslight us into thinking that's not true, including the company that built an empire by putting objectively gorgeous women in sexy outfits.
It will never not be true. No matter how much they try, no matter how much they kick and scream.
Right.
Sex sells. It's always has. It always will.
Kind of a schizophrenic brand at this point, because if you look on their website, half of the models will be overweight with cellulites, with stretch marks, average looking bodies. And then the other models will just be the normal, tall, skinny, muscular, toned models.
Yeah, they mentioned in the article here, they mentioned the Jessica Rabbit figure, and I was like, that's not what the Victoria's Secret models
No, it was
were.
not. It was like narrow waist, narrow hips, big boobs. And tall. That was kind of the Victoria's Secret look.
Not necessarily relatable to the average person.
No, it's not.
But it has gone a little too far.
But neither should be a size 14 model or a transgender model or a model who is an amputee. Like all of these things are just like catering to the very niche 0.000% group of people in society, and therefore you are representing nobody by trying to represent everybody. It's just not possible.
Also, it's stupid because I see no reason why it should be relatable. I don't.
Right.
Like, I don't.
Yeah.
There's no real. Like, look, when from what I would imagine, like if a woman buys this stuff, it's not because she sees somebody who looks like her and thinks that person looks good. It's because she sees a woman that's beautiful and wants to imagine herself that she looks the same when she puts that on.
Advertising is supposed to be aspirational,
Exactly.
selling an aspirational image or a lifestyle of some kind. And however you feel about that, that's what works. That's what gets people to spend the money on the product.
Beauty needn't be inclusive. If anything, if I was
It's by definition exclusive.
if I was if I was a hot person who put a lot of work into looking attractive, I don't want that to be accessible to everyone because I worked hard to look that way.
But also, if you're beautiful and you didn't work hard to look that way, which is the case for a lot of beautiful people in society, that's just the facts of life. Like some people are genetically perfect. Why should you be, X'd out and not represented? Right? Like, why should we pretend that you're fake and you don't exist outside of photoshopped images? Like, those models are real people. They do work hard for their figures, but also they were born into it.
Right.
Why is that a bad thing?
Yeah,
it's
you
just
shouldn't
like
hate them for that.
Again, like the cultural Marxism that has taken over every facet of society, where we have to interpret everything in hierarchies. Who is perceived to be higher than or lesser than? And I recently saw a video that was posted by Ian Miles Chong on Twitter, and he got a lot of hate for this. He didn't even add a caption. It was just a video of a runway show with lingerie that was all disabled models, like models that were in wheelchairs, models that were amputees, etc. Like all different types of models with disabilities, and a runway show. And the responses were, you're a meanie for even drawing attention to this, as if they're not asking for that type of attention in the first place. And they were also saying, well, this is what body positivity movement should have been about. Like, promoting obesity is bad because that's a choice, but we should promote models with disabilities. And I'm not quite grasping that. I don't really get why that's needed. Why is that necessary? Why should we prop up any defects in anyone? Why would we not prop up the ideals?
Or I guess if you're a company that's
the unattainable.
If you're a company that's making something specific to that, but there's no reason that a company like Victoria's Secret can say, you can do that. That's not what we're doing. Like, not every company needs to adhere to those beliefs, right? There should be such a thing. It's like when you're talking about movies, right? If somebody wants to make a movie and then they ask the question to Mads Mikkelsen, why isn't the movie have more of this in it? It's like, your movie can do that. His movie can do that. Maybe my next movie will do that. That's not what this movie is. Your fashion brand can do that. Their fashion brand can do that. Maybe we'll do that someday. That's not what we are.
Women in wheelchairs wear the same bras as everyone else. So why should they be on the billboards and in the stores and on the website promoting the products that everyone else is buying?
Yeah.
Other than you just decided it's a virtue to promote and celebrate defects and disease and obesity in humans. Why would that be a good thing? I'm genuinely saying that because it's like dehumanizing to those people.
It is.
Right?
Yeah. And not propping up isn't the same as putting down either.
Right, exactly. Like, I feel like I'm actually the person who's seeing them in like a humanizing way. Like, let's not act like this person is a unicorn who should be treated like royalty for having a disability. Like, that's actually mean.
Yeah. And they are being used.
Right.
Like, for someone else's agenda and to feel good about themselves.
In our current year, I don't think that matters to most of them.
To
most people in these positions, I don't think they see that as like I think they see all corporate interactions as abusive anyways. And I think a lot of them, they see them all as some sort of predatory arrangement. So why not get theirs from the predatory arrangement a lot of the time?
It's just like, how far are we going to take this? Are we going to have Victoria's Secret angels with leprosy? Like, what's next? I don't understand. Like, how do you draw limits on this?
Someone's always going to get ignored.
Exactly.
I do not see a problem with just like, also, look, people like pretty things, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that. Even if it doesn't represent you or look like you, the fashion show wasn't popular because you went and watched the fashion show for somebody who looks like you. You went and watched the fashion show because there's smoking hot women on the runway. Nobody asked what the morality of that was. Now, if you want to talk about the morality of their pay structure, the morality of abusive executives and people who do illegal things or manipulate or use these people for their own ends in something that's very different from their outward marketing, meaning like they're like if some model is coaxed into doing something she doesn't feel comfortable with for the sake of some photographer or some executive, that's a whole nother discussion. But there is I refuse to believe that there's something immoral about putting attractive people on a screen and letting people watch it and say, look, I like attractive things. There's nothing inherently immoral about that.
Yeah.
There's a $20 one here from Disco Jensen. Says, they knew what beauty was in the 1400s. The 2020s are all about deconstructing beauty in society.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a huge science experiment where people are trying to figure out what we already know, and that is whether attraction is something that's ingrained in us or it's something that can be determined and manipulated through marketing or through visuals or through images. And we're discovering time and time again that it's something that's just kind of inherent in human beings.
There is an argument to be made, and I think a lot of people have made this point before. Like, it has worked in the past for them, right? When it was subtle. Like, look, they did more for anti-racism by just what we talked about last night was like proximity. You move into a neighborhood with people that don't look like you, and your illusions about what they were or what you were told they were fall away because you see them in action. You see them as human beings now, not just as something that somebody fed you an idea of what that person was.
Right.
Now, when we made movies that were diverse back in the day, and there was characters of all different races, that was different, and it was more subtle, and probably did more for relations between the sexes and between the races than anything that they're doing now, which is overt and like an implicit. Because you feel it, and as soon as you do something like that, the average person starts to feel preached to. When you go watch a Victoria's Secret fashion show, the average person wants to feel catered to, not preached to. They want to see things that appeal to them, not things that they feel like they need to go look up some Wikipedia article.
Thank you.
That's surprising.
Hold, please.
It's party time.
That's why we should have Carter on. Carter's the modeling expert here. Why isn't Carter?
Hey, Ian did modeling too.
Carter and Ian are our resident models. They're the handsome ones. We should have been asking them about their feelings on this.
I think Victoria's Secret is still extremely confused about what they want their brand to be, because they haven't actually decided to go back to what they were in the 2000s. They just want to somehow try to do both.
Yeah.
So here's what their brand president said in a meeting with investors. Sexiness can be inclusive.
Nope.
Sexiness can celebrate the diverse experiences of our customers, and that's what we're focused on. In regard to their diversity rebrand, he said, despite everyone's best endeavors, it's not been enough to carry the day. And that's a bizarre understatement, because they've lost multiple $1 billion to their bottom line for multiple years now. And I think that even started before the worst of it came around. Yeah. It's also just because people aren't shopping in person anymore, and they have a lot of competitors like Rihanna's brand. So they're really behind the times, and thought, like, in order to modernize, let's just put fat models on the cover. Like, no, you went the wrong direction. And they don't know how to course correct. Right. Because it's admitting fault.
Yeah. I don't think they can. They would have to be like very, very bold in just not caring. Just literally.
Right.
Like, I would love to one day wake up. It would actually make for a great skit if, like, you wake up and everything around you is current year. You flip the channel and it's like Captain Marvel's coming out. You turn on the radio and it's some advertisement for for Bud Light with Dylan Mulvaney. And then, like, you turn the channel and it's the 2023 Victoria's Secret fashion show, and they're all just heroin thin and super hot, and you're like,
well, that's the funny thing about it is Victoria's Secret got so unfairly scapegoated for heroin chic and promoting eating disorders and all this unrealistic body image crap, and their models were actually far more realistic to what's possible for average women than the rest of the fashion world. They actually did have meat on their bones. They had muscles, and they had boobs, which fashion models don't have.
Yeah.
So what was the big idea? Like, you can pretty much achieve that aside from being like over 6 foot, which most women obviously are not. You can achieve that just by being skinny and working out. Yeah. So what was the big idea about it being unattainable for women?
This is prominent in like comics and stuff too, right? They want you to draw women how these women want you to draw women like everyday average women, not like the aspirational superhero beauty that you want them to be, right? Because the women feel automatically attacked by the idea of showing a woman with a six-pack and in a toned physique is unattainable beauty standards. And then imagine you say that, and then you have to hear the lecture not only about how oh well, I'm not going to take steroids and food and all the food is too expensive, because then we have to have that discussion again, right? About how and they're not even wrong, but that's the point. Is like they're not wrong, right? Like it is very hard to eat well. It is very hard to get in shape. That's why it should be celebrated. Because it's not easy to do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want people celebrating what's easy.
Celebrate someone who actually did something hard.
Yes!
Not someone who slipped into the default.
Now you could make the arguments here that, look, there's a lot of plastic surgery, there's a lot of Botox, there's a lot of enhancement that's done that's not necessarily on their own. But the base level is like, look, the average Instagram model spends as much time making sure her body looks good as a guy does going to work a guy that goes to work to pay his bills, because she knows that her body is her meal ticket.
Yeah.
That's what makes her money. Right? I don't have a problem with people wanting to celebrate that.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me. That maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's all fake, but I don't think I think yes, there's a lot of plastic surgery, and there's a lot of these things that are done now that are aftermarket per se. But you still have to want to put in the work. A lot of them will tell you, like, look, it's less than working out is eating right. And the average person doesn't want to do that. I don't want to freaking do that. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's not easy. And why are we celebrating things that are easy?
You're right. A lot of the celebration of ugliness is also just like finding an excuse to not put in effort to look good. But also, I think that, like, this is my theory. I think that some of our society's celebration of ugliness these days was an overreaction from the hypersexualization of our culture that was like at its height in the 90s and 2000s, where you're walking past the Victoria's Secret store and there are gigantic billboard signs of women in their underwear that you're trying not to look at, and like, or else you would be the weirdo. Like,
wait, you're not?
That's hypersexualized for any public space.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
a really
like,
interesting point, actually.
that's weird. And we overreacted to all of that by thinking the solution was to take all the beauty away and replace it with ugliness, when really, like, we didn't realize there was a happy medium. Like, you can celebrate beauty and the ideal and beauty standards without over sexualizing and objectifying, you know? Like,
Right.
those things don't have to go together.
If they can't even get this part right, there's no way they're going to get that level of nuance.
No.
right. not
I don't
a chance
believe that they're
in
capable of
hell
it.
would they ever manage to get that level of nuance right. It would also require our society to kind of revert back to a different level of social moral that I don't think we're really capable of doing. I think it only goes in one direction. We're simultaneously like very prudish now, but also like not at the same time in the stuff we celebrate. It's never going to go back to that. It's never gonna go
branched
back.
off into too many extremes.
Yeah. Yep. All
We
right.
have like pride parades in major cities, but you can't call your female coworker toots. Like, it's
and
it's
frankly, that bothers me.
it's a very schizophrenic outlook we have on like sexuality in the public space.
Mary comes into work every day. I'm like, how you doing, toots? That's what happens. It's,
All right, let's.
I make sure to give her at least one misogynistic nickname every day.
Right.
It's how we keep it casual here at PC. Let's go to Super Chat.
Let's wrap it up. Olivia Claire said, Mary is giving, tonight will be the night that I will fall for you today. Hi, Sarah. Looking lovely as always. Oh, hi, Brett.
That was just rude. But me,
You were
Mary,
forgotten.
Why is Brett getting all the hate?
I tend to be very forgotten. That's it. Wait, who said that?
Olivia Claire?
But it's because she has a derpy cat. So she's upset at me because she knows that she has a derpy cat that I will not admit, that I will not call handsome or beautiful. It's derpy, and they don't like me for that. So I guess I'm the bad guy.
Wait, Mocha's female, right?
Mocha's female.
Okay, just checking.
Yes.
Shane H. Wilder said, Brett, you couldn't be sleepy. Mary is sleepy. Maybe grumpy? LOL,
Somebody also
JK.
said. what's the other one?
Dopey.
And I was like, damn. Thanks,
No, you're
guys.
definitely grumpy.
Why do I?
They tried to. I watched Snow White yesterday. They tried to sacrifice Dopey. like when they went back to the house and Snow White was already sleeping in there. They were like, "Go ahead, like see who's in there. We're right behind ya." And like they tried to sacrifice him. Damn,
Poor Dopey.
They treated him so badly.
Unappreciated.
Also, Grumpy was such a like misogynist. There was literally a scene where he was sitting on top of a barrel and he was like, "Women."
Am I right?
Like literally, he was like mad that the rest of them were simping for Snow White. It's a cute movie.
It's
a cute movie.
He was
for
right.
sure.
He was
Also,
right.
like really based. Like they show the evil queen practicing witchcraft, and then the next scene is Snow White praying at her bedside, bringing her requests to God, being a holy woman. It's like something that Disney would never show today. That would never be in a Disney movie today.
in any movie, really. Very few, far and in between.
No.
And if they do, they could probably
Snow
be
White,
criticized for it.
Christian Disney princess.
Maybe that's what will Lillian. Maybe Brett Cooper will have a scene like that when she does it. Maybe she will pray in their Snow White.
Yeah, we're gonna need to give them notes on this. Shane H. Wilder said, oh my goodness, said, I feel like people forget that celebs be pooping too. Okay.
Well, all right then.
Especially Amber Heard, right? Harry Goons said, it looks like he has no toes. He's all heels.
Yeah, like look, if you look at the picture, there's these really funny drawings where it's like the fibula is the longest bone in the body. So why is his femur like it's really, really funny. Like you have to go look at the drawings they do.
He has
It's
some
like,
insane lifts. I've seen the diagrams.
like, and my favorite part was like, do you remember like when like Tim was like, I never saw any of this. I'm like, that's the difference between me and you. I'm like, you know all this stuff about Gaza,
Right.
And what's going on in
I was
Israel.
looking at
I
Ron
know about
DeSantis
Ron DeSantis. I was the one looking at whether Ron DeSantis refused to carry his kid in a parade because he didn't want to fall over from the heels he was wearing. Like I was like, because there was this like meme that was going on around for a while where he's like walking in the rain at some parade with his wife and his wife's carrying the kid. And I don't remember who it was. I think it might have been Malcolm Flex. He's like, but why is his wife carrying their child? Like, wouldn't it be better optics? I'm like, and I thought about it, I'm like, he's probably got the heels on. He doesn't want to drop the kid, right? So, you know, you gotta
He's got
play
that
it safe.
Christian worldview, you know.
He's
the woman
being very
takes care of
safe
the
about
kid.
it.
It's like
So-
wearing actual stilettos
Maybe
under there.
no. See, you know what it was?
Red bottom.
When he did the smile, maybe his toes were just pinched, and he was actually just trying not to grimace because like the high heel boots
This is going so deep.
were hurting him. He's like,
Wait, look up the diagrams. I want to show them the diagrams because they make him look like he has alien feet. Derp Space 9 said, what does a woman call a guy who is 5'8"? Friend.
oof,
That was a good one.
feel you, bro.
That's not true, though.
I love, okay, the article, it says, is Ron DeSantis wearing hidden platform heels in his stupid, ugly boots? So
Wait, look at the way his toes go up like that. And then look at the other dude's shoes. Like,
people
that
were
doesn't-
saying that like that
What is
cowboy
that?
boots, the toes do naturally do that, but it feels like
Yeah.
it's more
Okay,
obstructive.
there's
He's from
no
Florida
logical
man.
reason
They
why
wear
he would
boots
be
like that,
wearing cowboy boots every single day.
I'm not.
What is that?
I don't know.
What are
I'm not sold yet.
those?
Where's the picture? The picture is really funny. I'm sorry. Look, as a fellow short, look, bro, just
embrace
it.
it,
Dude, you
yeah.
have to just accept it. Like, I accepted a long time ago that I needed to develop like a semi-interesting personality because I was never going to have the height to my advantage. See, some could say I failed at the interesting personality part too, but I put more effort into that than I did the height part because I couldn't do anything about it. You know, you gotta just embrace
It's like
it.
the ugly duckling. You know, if you're not cute when you're young, you develop a personality.
Exactly.
And then hopefully you have a great personality and you're cute when you're older.
That's what you hope for. And look, Ron DeSantis, he just set femur. I see. What I thought he should have done is he should put like world's longest fibula in his social media profile.
Maybe he
Just
got
embrace
like
it.
Chinese foot binding.
Maybe he got his knees done.
Like
Oh,
the,
yeah,
he gets all
the leg length and stuff. He could have gotten the leg
He
length
got
and
his
stuff.
knees done. That's the real answer. Quite Blackpilled said, end the poll 4 eyes.
Oh.
Well, when you
That
say it
was
like that,
so
now he doesn't want
rude.
to. Now he doesn't want to end the poll.
Come say it to his 4-eyed face.
There will be no end to the poll today, ladies and gentlemen. As far as
Just
you know,
because you said that.
anybody could have won. I'm not doing it. It's kind of like when I was talking with some people in the chat earlier about like what we cover here, and like they mentioned like we didn't do it. We did what, like a Taylor Swift topic on Monday, but we haven't done any since then. And it's like, but you telling me you don't want me to cover it just makes me want to cover it more because I'm very American. Like the more you tell me not to do something, the more I want to do it.
And aren't you like part Polish too? So you're like you just have that fight in you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just
The anti-commie
like,
fight.
You say don't do it, and I'm like, now I want to. It's kind of like that
Right,
meme where
right.
it's like when the government tells me to do something, you say, no, I don't want to. And then you fold your arms like this. Yep.
I get
Olivia
it.
Claire said, I like looking at pretty things. It's why I watch PCC every day.
Oh,
Thanks.
That was very kind. Thank you.
that was very
Assuming
sweet.
she's talking about all of us and not just you two.
Yesh said, Mary above mid, Sarah above mid, hey, Brett.
Okay.
This is...
What?
I'm going to assume that he's not doing that to insult me, but just because he doesn't have an opinion on how men look.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go with that.
Okay.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, Brett.
Y'all are being savage today. Corey Anderson said, shout out to Coffee Mommy. Congrats on your baptism.
That's you. You are now Coffee Mommy.
Who said that?
Corey Anderson
Okay.
said that.
She's like blocking it. She's like, you're never getting your coffee again, Corey Anderson. Not so long
Order
as I'm...
canceled. Weird.
Oh, I'm sorry. It says it's sent. I'm sorry, Corey. Like, we'll get a new one out to you in
Says
the mail.
delivered.
And then every time you send one, like one, you send like half the bags. And the other, it's like all your orders will now be... It's cursed. I have no idea what happened.
Oh my goodness. Should I read that one or no?
You can read it as long as you don't say the actual...
No, I'm not
word.
gonna. It's just it says, Mary, say the N-word, hashtag First Amendment is dead.
Nutella.
I can't because the First Amendment is dead.
Nuremberg trials.
Nantucket.
Nantucket, yeah.
What
Nipsey
other
Hussle.
N-words
There's all
are
sorts
there?
There's all sorts of them.
Disco Jensen said 69 inches sounds better than 5'8".
That is true. Also, remember the average height of an American male is 5'9", and 5'5" for women.
5'4" for women.
Is it 5'4" for women? Okay, so yeah, the average height for an American male is 5'9". I think it's like when they talk about actors being short, that's always really funny too, because like I never thought that to be true. I always figured they were taller. But like when Mark Pellegrino was here, he's tall. He was like a tall dude, and then he was like, "Yeah, they're short." I'm like, "Yeah, compared to you." I'm like looking up at him like this. I'm like, "Yes, I'm sure they are short compared to you." You know. There's one more here from Shane H. Wilder. He says, I'm sorry, I own cowboy boots, and what Ron is wearing looks more like what a streetwalker would wear. See, that's what I said, Shane. That's what I thought. I thought even then the toe was still
I can't
a little
even
too...
think of him as Ron.
Ron.
Like his wife just calls him Ron.
Ronnie.
Or like Ronald.
Ronnie.
Is his
Well,
name
it's like-
Ronald?
Yeah,
Is his name
it has to
Ronald?
be. It has
It's
to
because
be.
he doesn't want to be called Ronald if he's running against the Donald.
Yeah, you can't be the
Like you can't
Ron
be
versus the
Ronald
Don.
and run against Donald.
The
Like
real
that's just not going to work.
The real hope is that Trump uses this to his advantage at some point, and he gives him some nickname that's just like, you know.
Bring the nicknames back.
Just, I mean, what would it be? Like, you know, Stiletto Ron?
I don't know. I don't think on my feet like Trump does.
Yeah.
The stilettotus.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Don's the best. We'll leave it to
Ron
him. He's good at
Ron
those.
DeSantis. That's what somebody in the chat
Ron
says.
DeStunted.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Ron DeSanctimonious is. It's objectively not a good nickname because it's way too long, but I just love it anyway.
Did Trump come up with that? The
Yeah, I think
sanctimonious?
so.
That's great.
Or someone on his team.
I have
All
to give it
right,
to him.
guys. Even though the chat was being sassy today, I want to thank all of you for joining us. Remember to please go ahead and hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Like I said before, we're on our way to 75,000 subscribers, so please go ahead and subscribe and join us whenever we're live Monday through Friday. Sarah, Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me back 2 days in a row.
Where do we get the coffee?
Castbrew.com. Follow us on X at Castbrew Coffee. Follow us on Instagram, Castbrew_coffee. And go on over and follow the Gamermaids YouTube channel, which is going to be starting soon as well. And I might be on making guest appearances on. So
Perfect.
Cool.
Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X, that is also Mary Archived, if you're willing to pay $1 annually to do so.
Let's hope, right? Dustin in the Wind says, don't mess with your chat. No, absolutely, my friend. We love the chat. They like to give us crap back and forth. Mostly me, it seems like, today. But it goes back and forth. We got a $2 super chat here from Oh My Goodness says, bread is cool. I swear I didn't just send that myself. I wasn't on my phone.
it's a bot. It's the Justin Timberlake bots.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Somebody actually said that. And there's
This is really good. The
Go
last
for it.
of my kind said Ron DeStiltis. That's good.
That is
It's a
very
great
good.
way to end.
All right, guys. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twix and on Instagram at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. PCC is here 5 days a week, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. We are also on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you'd like to listen to the audio version of this show. And if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then. Later.
Bye.